Right now, we have with us Peter Ferrara. Today's our Peter Day. Peter is the senior fellow with the Carlson Center for Public Policy, the cccp.org, the website. Wasn't that the acronym of the Soviet Union?
No, the Soviet Union had 3 C's in it. We only have 2.
You have. Okay, what? Oh, okay. So you're CCPP.
Yes.
Okay, I've got a typo in what I'm looking at here. Thank you, Peter, for correcting that. You wrote a piece called Hartmann, no, this isn't Hartmann versus Ferrara. The piece is on a different page. Apparently, I don't have the piece in my show notes.
It's called The Coming Sequester Lies.
Yeah, here we go. The Coming Sequester Lies. And I read that this morning. And you want to give us a summary of it?
Well, I mean, one thing to draw out of the sequester debate is that the Democrats don't want to make any spending cuts. I mean, here you have just a 1% reduction of federal spending, not from current level of spending, but from the increase. So you're just reducing federal spending by 1% from the increase. It's still going to increase several percent this year, and they're telling us it's the end of the world. So what that tells you is they're not going to agree to any spending cuts voluntarily unless we trap them into it like we did with the sequester. And the second thing is their economic policy, which is spending cuts hurt the economy and tax increases don't. The Senate was considering an alternative to the sequester. The Democrats were pushing an alternative to the sequester that would increase the capital gains taxes again for the third time. And we're only in March, and it's the third tax increase on capital gains, which would make it the 4th highest capital gains tax rate in the entire world, to go with the highest corporate tax rate in the entire world, except for the socialist one-party state of Cameroon, which still manages to nose us out. And so that would leave us very anti-competitive, but it's a very upside-down notion. Cutting spending is good for the economy. It's pro-growth. And raising taxes, of course, even John Maynard Keynes says, is negative for the economy.
Let's qualify that. John Maynard Keynes said raising taxes on working people was bad for the economy. I don't see how raising taxes on Mitt Romney and Paris Hilton, on people who earn their living sitting on their butts around the pool waiting for the dividend checks to arrive, is going to hurt the economy. And I also, in your article, you said, indeed, the entire Keynesian focus on demand is misconceived because demand is insatiable and can never be adequate in a market economy. I'm assuming you've read enough Keynes to understand that when he says demand, he's talking about money being spent into an economy.
Yeah, actually, I learned my Keynes at Harvard, where they actually were the real inventors of Keynesian economics.
Right. So why would you say this? Why would you say that demand is insatiable?
I'm disputing the whole doctrine of Keynesian economics. The economy does not run on spending more. It runs on increased production, not increased spending. So the whole notion is fallacious. If demand is inadequate for any good or service, the price simply declines until supply equals demand. And so the whole thing is silliness, and it only survives as a doctrine because it justifies what leftists want to do, which is increase spending and increase spending and deficit.
Well, I think what you're describing is a good description, actually, of the process of inflation. If there is a commodity which is an essential commodity, for example, oil, and suddenly there's less of that commodity, as there was during the Carter administration and during the Nixon administration, the 2 times that the Arabs cut us off, then suddenly there's an increase in demand for that, and the price goes up. Demand chases the price up because the supply is not adequate. So I'll give you that. That's a great way to explain the mechanism of inflation. But I don't see what that has to do with an orderly economy. Are you saying that this demand-side stuff that Reagan peddled to us, that if billionaires build more factories, we will suddenly want to buy more goods, that's how we should be looking at the economy?
It's production that it drives prosperity and growth. You can't spend yourself rich, and so that should be obvious. And it's silliness.
Why not?
Another one.
What got us out of the Great Depression, Peter?
Spend yourself rich by tomorrow. I'm sure there's lots of stuff you'd want to buy.
What got us out of the Great Depression?
Because rich people do spend a lot of money. So, Tom, go spend yourself rich by tomorrow, and
what got us out of the Great Depression, Peter?
What got us out of the Great Depression? World War II got us out of the Great Depression.
Okay, so that was the largest government spending program in the history of the world.
Spending does zero to promote the economy.
What got us out of the Great Depression?
It's anti-growth. It's anti-growth because
we did not cut spending during World War II. We radically increased spending.
Yeah, because actually, that really is. I shouldn't have said that because really that's a fallacy. World War II did not get us out of the Depression.
No, Franklin Roosevelt got us out of the Depression.
The economy was in the Depression for long enough. I mean, how long was it supposed to be before it recovers? That never lasted that long before. It was only because they pursued the Abominomics won that it lasted as long as it did. So it never should have.
FDR had gotten unemployment from over 30% down to the mid-teens by 1936.
It would have
3 years.
Following your advice. It would have ended in 1929 if they hadn't been following your advice.
No, 29 was the result of 3 years of supply-side economics. For 3 years, Herbert Hoover had been saying, we'll just wait for the billionaires to bail us out. And it just got worse and worse and worse. Can you give me an example of a time when supply-side economics was saying, okay, we're going to cut taxes on the rich, and this is going to produce a lasting prosperity? Any time in the history of America when it's actually worked?
1960s, Kennedy did it, and the economy boomed.
Kennedy actually raised taxes on the rich.
Why are you interrupting me? And they ended up with more.
Because you're not telling the truth.
Rather than less.
You know that Kennedy raised taxes on the rich, Peter. And in fact, I've heard conservatives brag about the fact that when Kennedy, and it wasn't Kennedy, by the way, it was Lyndon Johnson. It was after Kennedy was assassinated. Kennedy called for it.
That raised taxes. Kennedy cut taxes. It was 91% rate. He cut it to the 70% rate. Let me remind you.
It was Johnson who did it. It was after Kennedy died.
The 91% rate to the 70% rate, and the economy boomed, and revenues went up rather than down.
And Kennedy made it very clear, and I suggest you go back and listen to his debate with Richard Nixon in 1960.
We quote it all the time here on the supply side.
Yeah, okay. Where he
says all the time, it was early supply side economics, in fact.
Well, it was not. What Kennedy said was that he was going to close the loopholes, and that was going to generate more revenue. He was going to drop the rate because nobody was paying that 91% rate. Kennedy should know. He was a rich guy. Nobody was paying that because the thing was drilled full of loopholes. So he closed the loopholes, dropped the rate to 74%, and rich people ended up actually paying more in taxes after 1964 when Lyndon Johnson did that so-called tax cut. It was actually a tax increase on the very wealthy. People paid more in taxes. Rich people paid more in taxes. You know that.
The tax rates for everybody, and he cut the top rate from 91 to 70. There was no
74%
loophole closing, and the revenue soared because the economy boomed, and the exact same thing happened under Reagan. And so we created the 25-year economic boom from 19.
Then why did Reagan raise the top tax rate back up from the 28% that he'd taken it down to?
He didn't raise it. Reagan did not raise it. When Reagan left office, it was 28%. He took it down from 70% when he entered office all the way down to 28%
in the last year.
25-year economic boom.
Okay, so it was George Herbert Walker Bush who raised it.
Boom in world history, 1982 to 2007.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want, I was there. I remember the 80s as the largest stock market crash we had had since 1929. It was 86. I remember the savings and loan collapse. I remember the two Reagan recessions. You look at the 80s in aggregate, and during that decade, GDP growth was not over 3%. It was just a little under 3%, whereas the 70s, the 60s, and the 50s had all been over 3%. I guess we remember it differently, but I'm still baffled by...
I was in the Reagan White House at the time, so yes, I was very much there, and I saw it firsthand, and that stock...
What you were seeing was a bubble.
Was a blip.
You were seeing a bubble. When you cut the top tax rate below 50%, you create a bubble.
No, you create incentives for increased production, which is exactly what happened. The greatest period of production in world history. More wealth was created from 1982 to 2007 than in all prior American history combined.
Well, I would say that, anybody who's running a Ponzi scheme would say the same thing. It was a bubble. But anyway, Peter Ferrara, the ccpp.org is the website. Thank you, Peter.